Hey everybody, it's Mark Stellingworth again for Brigadoon Radio. Today I have Jason Prall. He is the founder of the Human Longevity Project. This is your first time Brigadoon, right?
It is.
Okay,
Yes.
so tell me a little bit about the Human Longevity Project. We just had about a 40-minute teaser trailer. It's a little too long for that.
Very short cut of really what the Human Longevity Project ended up being, which is a 9-part film series looking at exploring the idea and the concept of longevity. But really exploring the philosophy of longevity. Do we really want to live a long time? Or is it more important to live in the present moment? Is health more important than simply extending our years? And then beyond that, what are the things that we can do to hopefully live a healthier and happier life? I think this is really what we all want, right?
Right.
Nobody sits around thinking, I can't wait to be 150 years old and really suffer for the last 50 of those years.
Right, it's more quality over quantity, right? And if we can have quantity, that's great, but if it's 30 years of, where you're debilitated, that's obviously not something
right.
that we want.
And it was to the point, actually, where when we were shooting the film, and I was really kind of asking these questions for myself, and I got to a point where I thought, longevity actually is completely irrelevant to the equation. And then I actually changed my tune a little bit, because I think the thing that we're missing right now, particularly in our Western culture, is the teachings and the lessons from the elders. So I think there is a point to longevity, I think, that can really do a valuable service to our society and our culture, which is all that experiential wisdom that can be shared with the youth, so that we don't have to make those same mistakes, that we don't have to repeat these things, as we go on. So I do think there is actually a point of longevity now. I've sort of switched my tune, but it is not the essence of really, I think, what we all want. We really want to be healthy and happy for as many days as we can, and that's really all we're working with, right? Mm-hmm. It's always today.
Yeah, absolutely.
We think about tomorrow, we worry about and think about yesterday, and that's our problem.
Right.
So I think it's really more about how do we get more into the present and just let the future take care of itself. Because at the end of the day, you can do everything right in terms of longevity and health and well-being and happiness and get hit by a bus tomorrow, right? So forget the theory and start living in the moment. That's really the point of the documentary film series, was to explore all the components that contribute to that, and really hopefully educate the people in the West as to how to sort of re-engage a healthy lifestyle.
Well, I know that the preview that we had generated a lot of discussion. But the one thing I wanted to ask you was, what are the actionable items?
Yeah.
What are the things that you can share with our viewers, the things that can have the biggest impact for them in long term?
I think in the West in particular, we're moving so fast and we are being bombarded with information. We are overstimulated. If you look at the nervous system, and we can get into all the science of this stuff, but we have too many things coming at us. We need to flip a switch and turn off a little bit. So whether that means meditation, whether that means breath work, whether that means prayer, journaling, gratitude practices, a walking meditation, a nap. Most of the places that we went to around the world that have these long-lived people, they take siestas. So one of the things that we have to do is slow down and shut down a little bit. So that is a huge, huge thing that I think we need to bring back into our lives. The sense of balance, right? We talk about the autonomic nervous system. We have the parasympathetic and the sympathetic. The parasympathetic is the rest and digest. This is where we have sex. This is where we laugh and we have fun. And then where most of us live for most of our day,
fight or flight,
is in that sympathetic state, right? And I always say it's pretty difficult to get an erection when you're running away from a bear. Right, so you cannot operate.
I'm going to use that proverb in the future.
You can't operate both at the same time. You're either in one or the other, and so I think we need to get into that other one, into the parasympathetic, so that we can digest our food, for crying out loud. So many people have sensitivities to food. They have digestive issues. I mean, we can get into physiology all day long. We need to get back in touch with our nervous system. So slowing down and finding a practice that suits you. You don't have to sit in like a Zen monk and meditate. That doesn't have to be your thing. Some people love that and can get into that. Some people love a walking meditation, right? So whatever it is for you, that's really, I think we need to get engaged with that. So that would be practice number one, slow down. Number two, I think, is to make sleep a priority, right? And so
yes.
You might be wondering what these weird glasses are.
Well, I wasn't going to say anything, but now that you brought it up.
They're essentially birth control for your face, because they're just not sexy.
That is.
But at the end of the day, they do serve a real purpose, which is these bright lights that are in my eyes right now. It's nighttime. Mm-hmm. Prior to the invention of the light bulb, this would have never happened in history of life, right? So we had the moon, we had the stars, fire, which they all have red and orange light to them. They don't have any blue and green. Blue and green signals to our biology that it's morning. So when we have these artificial lights at night, it's actually telling every part of our physiology that it's a different time of day. So our hormones are different. The way our liver and digestive tract functions is totally different given the time of day. Every cell in your body actually has something called a clock gene, a period gene that regulate its function. So the thyroid, right, is something hypothyroidism and autoimmune thyroid, these thyroiditis that we have, this is a very common thing. The thyroid alone has over 900 genes that they've identified in just this one study that I was looking at that either flip on or flip off depending on the time of day. So our whole function is based on the time of day. So focusing on sleep and circadian rhythm is a real key practice. And circadian rhythm is so important that in 2017, a Nobel Prize was given out for its function on biology. Circadian rhythm is huge.
Is there a fixed number, like at least 7 hours or less than 6 hours, or is it just like everything else we've just been discussing? It's individualized.
It's very individualized. Some people are actually night owls. Some people are early birds, and this has actually been documented research now. The problem is that some people think they're night owls, but they're not. Their light cycle's messed up.
Right.
So, and we know that chronobiology or circadian rhythm is important because when we travel to a different time zone, you're all out of whack. In fact, most people get sick because their immune system is now not functioning well because we've switched time zones, and the sun's time is different from our biological time, and we take some days to catch up. So wearing these orange or red glasses at night helps my biology recognize that it's nighttime. Okay. So monitoring your light cycle is a part of getting good sleep. Another part of getting good sleep is to keep a consistent bedtime. So in order to figure out if you're an early bird or a night owl or what have you, you have to get your circadian rhythm back on track. Mm-hmm. And this has to do with the light cycle of your local environment. So we have to get in touch with that. As the sun sets, you need to start thinking about how do I adjust my artificial lighting so that it's not changing my biology. The person you're sleeping next to, do you love them? Do you have a poor relationship with them? Because if you're sleeping next to them, that could create sleep problems. Do you like your job, or do you like your day? If you're dreading tomorrow, you're going to do everything you can to sabotage sleep because as soon as you go to sleep, tomorrow's going to be here and you don't want tomorrow to be here. So a lot of aspects to sleep, the noise environment, the temperature. What I would there's so much to get into that I can't really cover it all. But I will say, make sleep a priority. This is where you heal. You heal no other part of your day except for when you're sleeping. It's the only time. So every other part of your day is, catabolic. It's breaking down. Sleep is where we repair, regenerate. And so if you want to recover from any disease, if you want to, keep your youth, this is where your brain cleans up. Mm-hmm. This is where we store memories. Everything happens during sleep. So sleep is so fundamental to health that it turns out that we die if we don't get enough of it. Right.
Right.
And so that's a huge one.
One more recommendation for our viewers.
I would say simplify your life. And there's plenty of other recommendations I can do, but simplify is so profound. And this is simplify the foods that you're eating. Instead of eating the organic apple chips that are $4.99 that come in a bag, get an organic apple. And better yet, hopefully you have one near you on a tree that you can pick. Right? So simplify the food, simplify the chemicals that you're using, the soaps that you're using, the personal care products, the makeup. Simplify the clothes in your closet. Go through your closet and give away your old clothes. Realize that you will have emotional attachment to clothes. This is a fascinating, project that you can go through. And as you give away these things, you're actually releasing some stored emotions that no longer serve you. These are just simple practices. So simplify every aspect of your day, of your calendar. Don't do things you don't want to do. You feel obligated. Simplify everything that you can think of. Simplify, and that will really get you in touch with more time, the ability to do things that you love, to slow down, to recognize where the real important things are. So it's a huge one, and it's big. But you can apply that lesson to simplify in every aspect of your life.
So that's really fascinating. So how's your time been here in Sundance?
It's been amazing. This is fantastic. I mean, if you guys keep having it here, I'm back every time. It's my first time to Sundance, and the skiing was fantastic today.
Not too crowded either.
There's nobody out there. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Beautiful weather. The resort itself is amazing. This blows me away.
Well, I'm glad you had a good experience.
And I'll tell you, the thing that I really do enjoy actually is the casual nature that everybody brings.
Right.
There's no agenda, which is fairly unique. There's only a few places that I've been where you feel like everybody's here just to kind of hang out and get to know you and talk about some deep stuff, to talk about some very surface level stuff, to just cover the gamut without an agenda to take home and to really manipulate. So it's just authentic, and it's cool.
So any recommendations for media that over the last 12 months, if you had something that really struck you as something you'd like to share with other people?
I think this is kind of a weird one, but I will say for me, working with a lot of emotional traumas and realizing how important that is to our health and well-being, both on the mental level, but also the physical disease symptoms that come from emotional traumas, we really need solutions. And one of the solutions that it's really came into my life, and not goes out and seeking this, is this plant medicine thing. It's now becoming sort of a thing. People are talking about this, ayahuasca and peyote and San Pedro, and now MDMA, which is known as ecstasy in Mali, sort of this party rave thing, is now being used in clinical therapy, marriage therapy, PTSD.
And I think for depression as well.
Absolutely. And mushrooms and psicilocybin is actually used for depression and anxiety. Mm-hmm. So to me, this is a very interesting topic that I'm fascinated by, because I think that we need to look at everything when it comes to resolving some of these emotional traumas and physical traumas and PTSDs and these things that the medical system just doesn't have a great grasp on right now. So that's a fascinating area that I would love to point people to. MAPS.org is a great organization that's doing this stuff. They're now in phase 3 clinical trials for using MDMA-assisted therapy. I know people, former military people that have gone through that and finding amazing results. So I think we need to open our minds to that. I would love to see people embrace this as a potential use of potential therapy, not a recreational thing, but an actual medicine. And the indigenous cultures around the world still use these things as medicine. And so if we can really learn from them and use this in a smart way, I think it's a really valuable tool. So if you haven't heard of this, maybe you have heard of ayahuasca. To me, it's a very fascinating subject matter to get into, and I continue to see really amazing things happen in that space. So I think it has a very big future.
Oh, wow.
With where we're going.
Yeah, absolutely. It sounds really.
I think it's
really
even on the ballot. Psilocybin's on the ballot in Oregon.
Oh, wow.
To be passed for clinical use.
Oh.
So I think it's following in the footsteps of cannabis, and I think we're going to start to see even more therapeutic actions.
So Jason, if somebody wants to find you on the web or find the Human Longevity Project, where do they need to go? Yeah,
they can go to humanlongevityfilm.com. And we actually released the film series. It's 9 parts. If you want health information, it's an overload. If you don't like that stuff, then I'm just going to tell you it's probably not for you. But there's a ton of stuff that we cover. It's 9 episodes. It's probably about 12 hours of content, I would say. And we're actually going to be giving it away for free. So we have a launch event that's coming up in June 6th, I believe. I could be wrong on that. But the whole thing's for free. We're going to give it away for free. So you can watch it online at humanlongevity.com, and we'll notify you each episode, and we'll show an episode each day. And it's there we want to educate people on really how to empower themselves with their own health.
Listen, it was great talking to you. And I know everybody
Likewise.
Who watched the film was really impressed, and a lot of conversation starters right there. So again, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. This is a pleasure.
No, it's our pleasure. We'll see you later.